Hey, I'm Shira Lazar at NFT LA with Cholo from Play It Forward DAO. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, happy to be here.
Yeah, and how's the conference going for you?
Oh, it's amazing. We're meeting a lot of really different people and project, and especially myself, I'm based in Singapore.
Oh,
so
wow.
coming here out of Asia, really to see a very different scene in the NFT world. So in Asia, it's a lot more GameFi, a lot more gaming projects, but here it's a lot more content creation, and really the cool stuff coming out like music NFTs and all that. Really, really interesting and impressive stuff to see.
Yeah, I think we could work really well together, actually. I think we could learn a lot from you all. And then, you could learn something from us, even though that market is just doing such great stuff right now.
Exactly.
So, what is Play It Forward DAO?
So Play It Forward DAO is, I would say it's a gaming guild as one of the key pillars of our business. So a gaming guild essentially is us giving access to blockchain gaming for people in developing markets like the Philippines and Indonesia. We have about 3,000 players, give or take, across those two countries. They are enjoying 5 or 6 blockchain games. What we do is release them the NFT assets required to play those games, and then in return we get a rev share on any earnings they make. So we want to continue growing our community by bringing in more games, different games, and also entering new markets. So we're making plans to go start guilds in Vietnam and the rest of Asia as well. So pretty exciting times for us.
Do you think this is the future of helping build the economies there and the employment? Because I feel like there's limitations, obviously, in some of those areas.
That's a great question, and I think that really hits to the core of what's made Play to Earn so popular in the emerging world. It's because a lot of these players don't even have bank accounts. They don't have like savings accounts, but they can play these games and are earning crypto, they're earning real world money because we pay them out in fiat, and that they can spend, and that's real spending power. So we're basically Play to Earn and GameFi is onboarding a huge underserved and non-financially or financially excluded people, and I feel that's a huge wedge for crypto in accessing these communities where even fiat has had trouble kind of penetrating.
Yeah, but what about the technology needed to then play, right?
Yeah,
It's still,
exactly.
You still need that to access this
Correct.
opportunity.
So that's why I think the initial wave of blockchain games that were really popular are the ones that started in mobile. So because mobile penetration, especially in Southeast Asia and emerging Asia, is very high. It's like 80% of people have mobile phones, whereas most of them would not even have PCs or laptops. So that's why you're seeing this whole mobile Play to Earn revolution in the emerging economies. The hope is that these players make enough to then invest in better gaming infrastructure, so that when the next wave of Play to Earn, PC, and AAA games come, they can also enjoy that wave of adoption and enrichment.
Are you seeing any of those kind of success stories from your community?
Yeah, very much so. So we actually are now. So our team now comprises of multiple types of contributors, I guess, for the DAO. We have people who do games research for us. We have streamers that constantly stream content and also help the games to up their engagement. And we also have coaches that teach the other players, newer players, how to play the game and get better at the game. I would say all of these guys started out as players for us. So we picked them up from the community. We really saw them as being very big and valuable contributors to the DAO, and we just promoted them, saying like, hey, you deserve a better role. And that's what we want to continue to encourage through the DAO, and as we build up more partnerships in the ecosystem, that we're really making GameFi a career for most people, and as a real alternative where you can see a path towards really becoming more than just a player, clocking in and really contributing more and being rewarded for that.
Yeah, why a DAO for this?
So it's an interesting question. I would say for a guild especially, it makes a lot of sense because your contributors and your key stakeholders aren't just the token holders. You have players, you have your game partners, you have people within the community that may not be playing games but supporting the community. And we feel that all of those varied stakeholders should have a voice. And the DAO structure is very aligned with that, so that you always take a cue from the whole of your community, not just a specific part of your community, when you make decisions on where we're headed and where we're going and what should we do next.
Yeah, so what is coming up? What are you excited about?
So we're excited about what's coming up in our country expansion. We're also in the midst of preparing our own kind of NFT project that has very strong ties to the community and even have some charity elements with regards to these underserved communities in the countries we operate in. And we're also incubating a couple of projects that we're launching that is very related to GameFi, but will allow guilds in the future to better scale and better manage their operations. So a lot of stuff going on, and we're hopefully, look out over the next couple of months. We'll be announcing these progressively.
So you have your players, you have the community. Are you also developing your own games and environments?
At this moment, we're not going into game development yet. We feel that our competitive edge is around management of players, teaching them how to be better.
Yeah.
And we actually see game partners as really long-term joint kind of like stakeholders in this space.
That makes sense.
We want to help them scale their community, at the same time access our community and help build a game that's very sustainable.
So where do you think we're going to be even a year to 5 years from now?
A year to 5 years from now. I was talking about this on my panel as well yesterday. Really, we're probably in year one of play to earn. And what we're seeing now is you're having this millions of players that have essentially built on-chain data with regards to their performance, what games they've played, and how well they've done in those games. The next phase, I think, is really how would projects use that data to enable really cool stuff for these players. So in the future, a player will have a really long resume of on-chain data about how they perform, what games they played, and that could become their resume for becoming an esports player or becoming an influencer or something like that.
Or being hired by your DAO or a network.
For the next guild,
Wow.
Correct.
What about how do NFTs play into all this?
So NFTs, other than I guess the gaming NFTs used to play the games, from our perspective, what we're trying to build is essentially NFTs that are tied to the community that will allow those community members to have a vote in the DAO without having to necessarily own the token. Tokens as DAO voting mechanisms are somewhat imperfect because they are liquid and then subject to
that makes sense.
games as well, but NFTs are not.
Yeah, so what would be the incentive to do the NFT versus the token? Like, how do you manage both of those and like building the community around each of those?
Sure. So from the NFT standpoint, what we want to highlight is really around highlighting certain community members. So we want to pick artists that represent that community, so that you're representing both the player community, but also the artist community in that specific country. And at the same time, we want to provide some utility to the NFT as well via either ongoing share of profits or even kind of like some charity element that we're kind of just working with partners now at the moment.
Yeah. And so what about the token?
But the token itself will continue to be, I would say as we bring more and more sub-DAOs into the mix, it will become an index of all those sub-DAOs.
Okay.
Because the token itself will be what will underpin essentially the whole ecosystem.
Okay, so can you earn that if you're part of a player in your network or your DAO?
We have right now the ability to earn the token, if you contribute well and contribute to the community. And then if you kind of like level up, I guess, within the guild or within the DAO, and show that you're a valuable contributor, then you, of course, part of the rewards is in more enrichment, either tokens or even our own tokens.
Finally, what advice can you give to those who are entering the space and seeing what you're up to?
Sure. I would say the main piece of advice would be just keep an open mind. Yeah. Because the space is so new and just a lot of the stuff is not even written yet. And every day there's new projects coming up with really cool stuff. And just keep an open mind, move quickly when there's new information, try to absorb that and adjust your thesis. I know it's hard in this space, but I can say that's what we do, and that's a challenge we face every day. But yeah, I mean, just I think explore GameFi, whether in a guild, in a game, or becoming part of a project, because I think there's lots of cool things that's going to happen in this space in the next 2 to 3 years. So
where can people find out more and to get involved with your DAO?
Sure. We are on all the socials, so our Twitter would probably be the main place. It's at PIF_DAO, and from there you can find links to our Discord, Telegram, and engage with the community, and would be happy to have you. Cool. That's it. Awesome. Happy to have you. Awesome. Amazing. Awesome. Yeah, so nice to meet you.